Hey, Shalom. I want to start out by saying all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahshua, Bashim Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to you, Akim, pushing this truth throughout the four winds and sincerity and in the truth. I'm going to basically, you can see Bible verses about pleasing the Most High rather than people. I just wanted to go off this list I was reading, and through the Spirit, I hope it's edifying, because, well, first off, let me just set the tone by saying the Most High works through men. Not all men. It's certain men he works through. So it will look to certain people that if you follow an order from an apostle, that you will be pleasing man. And when you understand the spiritual aspect of this, you will understand that that's the furthest thing away from the truth, because Yahweh Shem Yahshua set his spirit on certain men to bring forth certain doctrines, and as it breaks down to getting it from the top in your own place of where you reside, you basically put that over your household. Okay, so everyone in your household follows the order, not just given by the apostles, but you begin to take on the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua yourself, and you grow that way. Okay, so the thing is, with a lot of this stuff is pride. A lot of it is pride. If you just go back and remember, before you had anything to do with the truth, you always wanted to be that dude. Think about it. High school, college sports. You always wanted to be that dude. The cool people in school you wanted to hang around, because you knew that drew certain attentions to you. Nobody wanted to be with people that wasn't popular. You kind of wanted to be around the people that had it moving. But now, being in the truth, you have to kick that. That has to be kicked, because you don't want to be in the mind frame of being self-centered, and the man-pleasing thing, it's all over the world. It's all over, and it could get really out of hand. So this is just a few scriptures. This is Galatians 1:10. It says, "For do I now persuade men or the Most High? Or do I seek to please men? For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of Hamashiach." So it's a choice being made here. You can't seek to please men. So, and this is where a lot of people will actually fall away from the truth, because now it's man pleasing, and you're seeking to get the validation from men. But your validation comes through Yahweh Shem Yahshua, and it's through certain men. Okay, so you can never be in the mind frame of not knowing one from the other. Okay, it has to be a balance in this thing. You have to know, like, you're not pleasing men by listening to correction and order. That's not man pleasing, because when you become a spiritual person, a true spiritual person, you understand that the blueprint came down through a man. And in every instant in the Bible, it always happened this way. So a lot of people will get things tangled up thinking that you're man-pleasing when you're actually just listening to the order of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You know? But then again, it is a certain thing called man-pleasing. And you see it all around. It's man-pleasing, but it's a difference from man-pleasing and falling in order. If you don't pay fine and close attention to detail, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But that's why you walk in the Spirit. Okay? 1 Thessalonians 2:4. But as we were allowed of the Most High to be put in trust with the gospel, even so we speak, not as pleasing men, but the Most High. Okay? Which trieth our hearts. Okay, now think about that. You were entrusted with this truth. Who gave it to you? It didn't fall from the sky on your head one day. You learned it from a man or men that Yahweh Shem Yahushai gave it to. Now you're entrusted with it. By you being entrusted with it, what you have to do is be very careful with it. Okay? It's very fragile. And you don't want to get it in your hands and abuse it. Okay? Because if you abuse it, now you'll see a lot of groups, when they get this big following and this big crowd behind them, you'll see pride set in. You'll see humility stand up and walk out the door. And it's everything I say, everything I do, you know, instead of letting the chips fall where they may, you know. And just looking at a lot of these Israelite groups, just discerning, you'll see certain things. It's like, you can't force someone to believe in this truth. That spirit has to be there. Okay? This is Proverbs 29:25. The fear of man bringeth a snare. So, now you're on the highways and hedges, or like preaching, and even on the comment boards or wherever you are, and someone will try to bring forth embarrassment, or, oh, you do this, or you believe in that. Then you become man-pleasing by saying, nah, I don't believe in that. You know, you kind of like turn your back on the truth. You'll see these things. You'll have some people that folds that way. Okay? It's because their faith is weak. They really truly don't believe. And they're set out to please man. When it brings shame to your name, just imagine you're on the highways and hedges and someone walks by that you have a real cool, you know what I'm saying, like partnership with, and they don't know that you know, let's say you haven't seen them in a little while, and they come up and like the first thing they're gonna ask you, like, man, what are you doing? What you got on? You know, you have to stand firm in that moment. Otherwise, to please that man, you should have no embarrassment or shame about what you're doing. But that's the way it's set up. So you can't be in the mind frame of pleasing men, because you're a spiritual person now. Okay? That's why it says the fear of man bringeth a snare. That's going to trap you up to, like, basically, well, I'm just doing this just because, you know, I believe in this. And you catch yourself explaining, you know, and truth of the matter is, this is what it is. This is truth, whether you like it or not. But a lot of people, just to please man and keep a good reputation around worldly people, they'll fold. Some of this may happen with your woman. You may go to her family and they go to church and they'll ask you, why don't you go to church? You're like, I don't believe in this. Or they'll actually go to church just to please that family, knowing they don't believe nothing that this dude is saying in the pulpit. Okay? But this is not the way to conduct yourself. Okay, it says, it says, the fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in Yahweh Shem Yahshua shall be safe. So guess what? Trusting in man, that's telling you it's the exact opposite. You won't be safe trusting in men. Okay? So if you have this truth and someone persuades you to go the other way, you're a fool. You're a damn fool. John 12 and 43, it says, for they love the praise of men more than the praise of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So a lot of men love the physical praise and the pats on the back from people. And if you just look around a lot of Israelite groups, you can actually see this play out in their congregation, you know, and it shouldn't be that way. They rather have that praise than the Lord spiritually, you know, store up your treasures in heaven. You know, it shouldn't be the want to please people here. Pleasing them is giving them the word, giving them the truth in its entirety. All right? But they love the praise of men, and that's a bad thing here. Because being put in this place, you already have strikes against you. You know, it's always something, and just to seek that validation from people to like, wow, I am somebody. And then all that starts to do is planting a seed of pride. And it gets to the place where I'm the man, you know, and can't nobody tell me nothing, you know, and you lose all humility and integrity and knowing how to be abased and abound. You got to constantly want to grow, and you got to know when to throw the punch and when to hold it. You know, sometimes you got to take a road that you might not want to take, but it's the best thing to do. Okay? Colossians 3 and 23. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men. So whatever you do it as you're doing it unto Yahweh Shem Yahushua and not unto men. Do we do things brotherly? Of course we do. But do that like you're doing it to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay? And all these things falls in the category of the laws. So you just have to know how to maneuver and do things the right way. And plain and simple. Okay? Acts 5 and 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey the Most High rather than men. And that's the truth. We ought to obey Yahweh Shem Yahushua rather than men. See, and it's scriptures like this that people would get misconstrued. Because rather than men, if someone brings forth this gospel, it's going to be through a man. So it's not going to be man-pleasing. A lot of people don't understand, or they do understand, because they'll go to church on Sunday and listen to this guy feed them nonsense from behind the pulpit. And they'll say he's an ordained minister. But they don't see that man pleasing. You know? So you take it with a grain of salt. But this is Isaiah 2 and 22. It says, cease ye from man, whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein he is to be accounted of. And that's a question. So where is he to be accounted of? And these are men that's bringing forth heresies and things that's not profitable through the true spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It's in a worldly sense. Okay? And you have men, and even have men in the truth. And it's the same way. Okay? Like how are they to be accounted for? Yahweh Shem Yahushua didn't give this truth to them. So how can they account for trying to give you a gospel and truth that was never given to them? It's all lies. Okay? Because at the end of the day, they're going to fill their belly. They're going to tithe me. And this is the building fund that we had set up, and they didn't raise. He got a mansion paid off. He got 5-6 cars, sending his kids to college, and you haven't learned nothing. That's man pleasing. See, man pleasing don't always have to be in the form of something physical, like per se. Like you praising a man pleasing, like by just through speech. Man pleasing can be through actions like giving this man all your money. You know, doing things around his house for him, and he's giving you nothing. Okay, so man pleasing comes in a whole bunch of different fashions. 2 Corinthians 5:9. Wherefore we labor, that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. So laboring, when you labor for the kingdom. You labor for Yahweh Shem Yahushua, but you have to do it in the physical on earth. Okay? So by doing what you do it to the Lord. Do it to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Don't do it to please men and people on this earth that's wicked. All right? Know what you're working for. Know what you're laboring for. Understand it. Galatians 2:20. I am crucified with Hamashiach. Nevertheless, I live. Yet not I, but Hamashiach liveth in me. This is spiritual. Okay? And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith of the Son of the Most High, who loved me and gave himself for me. So, understanding this, you know that if the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua lives in you, you're not going to fall in a mind frame of being of this world and being tricked by this world to where you're going to church and you're breaking all the laws now. You know, those things are man pleasing. You can give forth, your actions can come forth knowing this truth, and all of a sudden you just switch it up. Now you're man pleasing because this is something you would normally not do. So who persuaded you to do these things? And that's man pleasing. Because if you were sold out to this truth, it's nothing and no one, like it tells you in the book of Romans, is going to persuade you. Nothing. Okay, let me grab one more. John 5:44. How can ye believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that cometh from the Most High only? So it's telling you basically, you believing and receiving honor one to another, man pleasing, like a Christian pastor in a church, you'll big up them and things of that nature. And it tells you the only honor comes from Yahweh Shem Yahushua. See, this is the difference from physical and spiritual, and knowing the two. This is the difference. All right? It's men that you honor on this planet because the Spirit of the Lord resides in them, and they're giving you the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua because he's doing it all. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is doing all of those things. But you have to have that same spirit in you to understand and know that's what it is. And then you'll understand this isn't man-pleasing. See, when you know the spiritual, you're going to act on it. Are you going to be perfect? No, but you're going to know. And by knowing, guess what? You humble up, you show humility, you repent, you do what you're supposed to do, and what comes from that is growth. It's just that simple. But you don't become man-pleasing. You know, you don't never be a man-pleaser. Because we know that we deal with a jealous power. Those praises, do it all through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's why if you tell a brother, you give him a compliment, what's he going to say? All praise, honor, and glory go Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And that's facts. Okay? But I hope this is edifying. I want to say, call Allah Yamla Yahweh Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostle, that was a great millstone. Peace and blessing to you. I can push this truth out for wins. Till next time, shalom.